I see Kevin, but I don't see anything else.
Please leave a voicemail at the extension you wish to reach, and your call will be returned as soon as possible. For the members of the water clerk, please press 1. For a water emergency, please hang up and dial 301.
Kevin, do you hear me?
Please hold while
I hear you.
Do you see me?
I don't see anyone
I see.
except me.
I see you. I was just in a room with everybody else, and then it booted me out and said the host has started, or someone has started another meeting with this account.
Exactly. Kevin, can you hear me? It's Nancy.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that's exactly what happened. Bill is correct. It booted Deb off. And so I believe she's busy coming back in now and is going to try to get us all back as panelists. I believe that's what she's doing. Hi, Ed. Hi, Barbara.
I'm actually doing that right now.
Yeah.
Is someone watching a movie? There's a movie running.
No. Say it's not.
Yeah.
On YouTube?
I don't know where it's coming from.
We don't see it here. Is this Deb?
Sounds like Deb.
I think it's Deb. We don't see it on our end, Deb.
Well, I don't see it. I don't see it either, but it's, this is crazy.
I can't see my own video.
Chris Steyer, was that you? If it was Chris Steyer, look in your lower left box and see if there's a video with a red line through it. Okay. Patience. It's going to work. It's going to work just fine eventually.
There's Chris.
Hi, Bill.
I got it.
There we go. We see you.
Hello, folks.
Deb, we see you now.
Yes, but there's like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs playing in the background.
How perfect.
I don't know where it's coming from.
I'll be dopey.
I'll be sleepy.
And now, what is going on? I don't know. It's Cinderella.
It's almost as though it's something coming through YouTube.
Right, I figured it out.
Okay.
Figured it out.
Because there is a live on YouTube sort of icon up our left.
All right, I think we're good now. All right, I'm gonna. I paused. I thought I paused this.
Yeah, I don't know. Can anyone see me?
I see. Yes, we can see you. We can see your box.
See his box, but can't see him.
All right, I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. Let me try to get people back to be attendees who are supposed to be attendees. Change role to attendee.
You do your deal, Deb. You got a lot to do.
All right.
Ed Wheelis is stuck back in like the 1800s, maybe even the 1700s. I'm not sure. How are the streets?
Right.
Muddy and rutted.
Mute you. Okay. All right.
Okay. I think we're good. 5 minutes after 7, we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening. This is the regular meeting of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry's Town Council, and it is Monday, the 8th of March, 2021, and it is 7:05 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Note, until further notice, this is the first time that we're utilizing this Zoom webinar. So until further notice, the Harpers Ferry Town Council will hold its meetings virtually via Zoom webinar, which provides for public participation during public comment portions of the meeting's agenda. Alternatively, the public may watch meetings by YouTube video live stream or listen by telephone. These options comply with the Open Governmental Meetings Act. Visit www.harpersferry.us/virtual meetings information PDF for further information, or you can contact the town hall for that link for further information on how to view and participate in town council virtual meetings. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order with the approval of the agenda. Calling for the approval of the agenda.
Does anybody feel like they need to move anything? Like the executive session items down towards the bottom? I think they fall into Barbara, your category of the water department. Barbara.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I think they should be moved to the end of the agenda so that we can spend the necessary time to discuss. And
You want to state which ones those are?
okay, it's 4B, Roman numeral 6 and 7.
Okay.
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor,
Aye.
indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Agenda is approved. Mayor's announcements, I only had one, and that was I was contacted by the Division of Highways, and we received it in this office on March 2nd, and I'll just read it into the record. Wayne Bishop, Mayor, Corporation of Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, 25425. Dear Mr. Bishop, this letter is to inform you that the West Virginia legislature did not include funding for the MARC commuter train in the current budget. We are notifying the Maryland that we will not be able to reimburse them beyond March 31st, 2021. We will keep you informed as more information becomes available. And obviously, this is a very big deal for our community and our region. And we were able to find some funds last year at this time to contribute to this. So I'll keep you posted as I hear more, or this letter is here in town hall to post it on the website, and it's not good news. Okay, that concludes the mayor's announcements. We'll move into the approval of the minutes.
Mayor, if I might,
Sure.
I'd like to recognize Ed Wheelis as the newest member of the Harpers Ferry Town Council and thank him for his volunteer effort. It's 3.5 months.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, and welcome, Ed, this evening.
Thanks.
Strange face up there.
A new face.
Yeah, we didn't mean that way.
Nice face.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So moving along, Kevin, why don't you walk us through the approval of these minutes?
Okay. The first one we have is the regular council meeting of 8 February 2021.
I did not find those in the packet that was provided online.
I had to go to the website and grabbed it off of the website.
I'm not prepared to participate in approval of those.
Okay.
Actually, I have them in my packet here. So.
The link that was provided to us was updated a number of times, the live link for the package documents. And that's something we're gonna work through. I know Deb and Pam are already working on it. So they realize the difficulty when it's updated after it's been sent out. So they're already working on that. I'm going through it right now, Kevin, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the meeting documents folder that is linked to on the website
Mhm.
has all of that information, including the 8 February minutes.
Right, right.
The link that Pam sent to you
Did not have it.
is a different folder, and I'm not sure whether it's included in there or not.
Yeah,
I did send those minutes to Pam, but I'm not sure if she uploaded them to her folder or
I
not.
clicked on something that Pam sent, and the February minutes are there, and so are all the other special minutes. So
Can we please just
And I'm
hold
a
those
dummy.
until our next opportunity to convene as council to approve, just given that we all have not had the same access to them?
Unfortunately, we have to have those for the closing tomorrow morning that we'll be addressing later on the
So I'm
agenda
going
here.
through it right now.
yeah, we have in those minutes, the motion that was approved for the
Alvarez bid.
yeah.
I'm reading that one right now. Barbara, since you're so much more familiar with that, if you wouldn't mind paying the most attention to number 2, the discussion on the engineer's recommendation.
Yeah. We moved to approve the engineer's recommendation to award the Alvarez construction bid and bid alternative. It was described in the letter to the mayor dated January 20th, totaling $5,282,000, as well as a 5% construction contingency of $264,050, plus all other fixed costs, engineering services, legal and financial services, land acquisition, permits, administration, and bond counsel, for a total of $6.3 million. That was our
Right.
the total of our loan.
I believe vote number 2, vote number 3, vote number 4 are really, and 5 too, quite frankly,
Yeah.
are really all directly, that language is directly from the motion language that you provided to Kevin, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Yeah.
With that, as I just, let me scroll just a little bit further to read 909.
Did you ask me something?
No, I'm just reading now about the public right of way. All right. I motion to approve these minutes as presented.
I second.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, Kevin, would you run a roll call vote on the approval of those minutes, please?
Sure. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Abstain.
Christian Petrokonis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
and I vote aye, Mayor.
Aye.
I need to ask Jay, because you don't have there's not a conflict here, you have to vote yes or no.
Ed Wheelis
I'm unprepared because I hadn't had a chance to review these. They were not included in the packet.
Right,
And
I understand.
I can't make a decision without fully reviewing them.
But you still
Right,
have
so
to
you
vote,
have to vote yes or no.
And
I'll
Ed
vote
Wheelis
no.
is in the same place.
Okay.
Okay.
And did you?
And Ed Wheelis? Yeah.
Oh,
Unmute.
Muted.
Unmute.
Yay.
there you go. There you are.
All right.
You voted
Thank you.
what?
He voted yay.
Yay. Yay. Okay. Great.
Okay. Thank you. Moving along to item B, Kevin, you want to walk us through those?
Yes, so We have the special council meeting minutes for 11 February, 19 February, 26 February, and 4th March 2021. We can, if there are no objections to any of those, we can take them all at once. Or if there are any amendments to be made, then those can be separated from the rest of the group.
Okay, that will go pretty quickly. I move to approve the special council meeting minutes for 11 February, 19 February, and 26 February 2021. Up, stop the motion. And also for March. For March is on there too.
Right.
Okay, is there a
Let
second?
me, hold on, I haven't finished the motion, I'm sorry. Give me one moment because for March isn't on mine, but I think it's another, I think it's
on mine.
another Swan meeting, right?
It is, yes. It's on mine.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me clarify this motion. I move to approve the special town council meeting minutes for 11 February, 19 February, 26 February, and 4 March 2021 as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. If there's no further discussion, Kevin, would you please run a roll call vote for the approval of those minutes?
Sure. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis.
Aye.
I vote aye, Mayor.
Aye. Okay, moving on. Item 3, treasurer's reports and approvals.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The financials for this evening are for the month of January 2021, which covers 58% of our year. You will recall that in February, we made a budget revision to both the general fund and the waterworks budget. The budgeted numbers in these financials do not yet reflect the revisions that we made in February. In the water budget, you'll notice our total income is at 68%. This is partly due to the price increase starting to play a role in our monthly revenue stream, as well as the COVID utility grant that was received. Overall expenses are running about 55%, so well within the budgeted range. There were a few line items that required some adjustment in the expense area, and these have been addressed with the water revision that was approved last month, along with adjustments to accommodate changes in expenses due to the commencement of the water project. We will be looking at another revision for the waterworks next month to accommodate a state grant that will be used to update the early warning detection system that we already have in place. In the general fund, once you remove the reserves from the income section, we have about $917,000 projected income for the year. With year-to-date income at almost $600,000, we've realized 65% of that projected income. Adjustments to sales tax and parking revenue are the major areas of adjustment that were made in the revision that was approved in February to accommodate for this. And on the expense side, revisions occurred in several areas: Office of Treasurer, Street Department, snow removal, and Office of Attorney being the most significant to realign budget expenses. Does anyone have any questions that I can try to address for you now?
I had one. I noticed that I think it's the library and transit donation hadn't been made for the year. Is that on the radar for budget and finance?
Yeah, it's on my radar for some time. Probably this month we'll try to get that out and address it in our regular meeting, which is the last Tuesday of the month, and then that can come forward into next month's regular council meeting.
Thank you.
I move, are we finished with discussion?
Okay, well, is there a motion to approve financial reports?
Yeah, I move that we approve the financials through January 2021.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, so further discussion. Hearing none. Kevin, would you run a roll call vote on the approval of our financial reports?
Sure. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis.
Aye.
I vote aye, Mayor.
Aye. Okay, and Deborah, approval of invoices and purchases over $500.
None that haven't already been approved through council.
Okay. On to town reports. Police Department. Is the chief with us here?
I think Deb has to do her mojo magic and bring him in as a panelist.
So Chief is, there he is. Okay. Chief, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys. How you guys doing this evening?
Oh, great.
Good.
For the month of February, we had no call-outs, no accidents, 2 assists, 37 citations were written, and 51 incidents for the month. Does the council have any questions or concerns?
Questions for the chief? Hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you, chief.
Yes, sir.
Ordinance Compliance Officer. The report is in your packet for your review.
I have reviewed it and I'm looking at it one more time. I do not have any questions about the OCO's report.
Okay, any further comment or questions about the OCO report that's in your packet?
I do believe some things are he issues his report in writing. I'm not sure exactly what day, but it looks like other stuff is being updated already. So that's why I don't really have any questions.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll move on to the Budget and Finance Committee.
Oh, okay, me. Okay, this is, I'm the chair, and this is in regards to, we've been talking for quite a while actually about the Harpers Ferry Cemetery for protection of the gate and fence with bollards and boulders. This is actually started with Hardy Johnson. Just give everybody a little bit of background. Hardy Johnson was the one who initiated this in the early fall. Historic Landmarks was involved in October, as well as Budget and Finance at that period of time, and planning as well. Today, the bollards, I'd like to do a motion regarding the bollards and the boulders, that we would assist the Harpers Ferry Cemetery Board in protecting this gate, historic gate that's about to be installed. And I make a motion to, let's see if I can find it here, hang on. I move that we follow the recommendation of the Budget and Finance Committee to approve up to $2,800 for the purchase and installation of boulders and bollards in the Fillmore Street right-of-way to provide protection and preservation to the historic gate and fencing at the historic cemetery from budget line 906, Arts and Humanities.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so discussion.
Yeah, excuse me. We all recently got this afternoon a letter from Midge discussing the problem with having the boulders positioned in the right-of-way. And I went over to take a look at it, and I can see her point. The fence sits up on a grade, and there isn't any way that a vehicle would be damaging the fence. It sits up on kind of a little hillside, and the boulders would be down on the street. So I didn't really see how it meant that the gate or the fencing would be preserved. And I just wonder whether we should rethink this.
A lot of people, let me add, if we looked at the map, the boulders were going to be practically up against the fencing. They're not going to be, they're going to be elevated up along the fence.
But the fence sits up on a little knoll, and
so these boulders are going to be moved up. They're going to be up higher. They're not going to be right at street level.
Okay, I'm gonna remind everybody of a little bit of history here. This went before the Planning Commission some months ago. And last month on February 8th, it came before Town Council. Town Council voted to grant, to issue a permit. And that permit includes the bollards and the boulders. There's like 5 items in the permit. And then I drafted the permit, which is going to come up for later discussion. So I'm going to kind of defer a little bit, if you will, to Kevin, because we've already voted to grant a permit. We haven't issued it yet, but we voted to grant it for the bollards and the boulders. Prior to doing that, I brought up the same concern about the boulders. I think the bollards are a wonderful idea. We've spent all this money on this historic looking replica gate. And I think the bollards are fabulous because that's really where the damage occurred, as I understand it, when maybe snow equipment or a truck or something kind of went through the old gate.
Snow pushed up against it.
Okay.
Knocked it over.
And then I kind of tossed out my concern about this liability of having boulders in the right of way. And I think the trustee foundation, the cemetery foundation, came back and said, well, we'll put some flags on them during the snow. And if the fence is higher than the boulders, long story short, I'm not crazy about the boulder ideas. I love the bollard idea.
That's what
But the town council has already voted to issue a permit. It's just that the permit hasn't been issued yet. So that's why I defer to Kevin on this. Or
Right,
perhaps
so-
Mayor Bishop on what we do if we say, no, not so fast on the boulders. And it's not my call, it's the body's call.
Right, so the town council has already approved that. So what's on the agenda for tonight isn't approval of that permit to place the bollards and the boulders. It's just for the funding for that.
Well, that's what this is. As you go further into the agenda for tonight, towards the very end is my actual draft of the physical permit, which has to be issued by town council. I think Mayor Bishop, you had sent an email through Pam or some maybe that said, oh, the OCO would issue it. No, this is a very special permit that's issued by Planning Commission, Town Council, as prescribed by Town Council. So that's later on in the agenda. And it also includes the dollar amount on it.
So we're here to consider and take action one way or the other on funding to pay for these bollards and bollards.
That is true. Right before us, right this minute, it's the funding for the improvement to the right of way.
Well, I really can't see, having gone down there, before I was looking at a map that was presented and kind of looked different than when you actually go down there in real life and take a look. And I just don't see where the boulders, I agree, the bollards are fine and dandy, but the boulders don't seem to have any, they're not, the fence does not need protected, it sits up. and the boulders would be down on the ground. And if you try to put the boulders up where the fence is, there's not enough of a ledge because it's a knoll. It's kind of a knoll. And the boulders would roll off.
They're going to be dug in, but
So part of me wants to make a motion, or if I could, to move this topic, this conversation, and combine it with the conversation towards the end. Let me just find the agenda item.
It's 6.
Oh, thank you.
6C.
6C.
6C, yeah.
Unless somebody on the body feels otherwise, I would like to combine this conversation. And I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I didn't make that realization from the outset. I'd like to combine this conversation with 6C, if we could. And there's no objection to that.
I've got no issue with that. I don't know that we need to vote. We can vote to move it, but I think we can just push it further in the agenda.
Right. If everyone's in agreement, then if there's consensus, then we can discuss the two items together. But they're not exactly the same thing. So if there was a motion made for either one, those motions would have to be separate.
Understood.
But the conversation can be combined.
Understood. I think to have the conversation together would be more beneficial for the body.
Okay, well, that being said, we can move on to item D, Water Department, and the general report.
Okay, we're going to have to invite Bill Robinson into the panel.
Oh, point of order. We already had a motion for this item, and it was seconded as well.
Okay.
Christian, would you have an issue to rescind your motion?
if I can do it later.
Of course you can.
Okay, I'll rescind it.
Well,
I have a cheat sheet in
I
front of me.
believe since it was already seconded,
We can.
I think we're going to have to finish this conversation right now because there's a parliamentary question that I can't answer right off the top of my head. I have to look it up here, but
Okay.
can we finish this conversation on this item at this time, or?
Hold on one second, Kevin.
Might be easier to actually bring the other item, advance that to this point in the agenda now and just deal with them right now.
Right, that's what I mean. I think we're going to have to do that.
All right, I see the challenge. Okay, so Mr. Mayor, motion made, motion seconded. Can the body agree by consensus to move the second aspect of the same topic, which is 6D, forward for the discussion right now?
I don't have any issue with that.
Okay.
6C.
6C, thank you, I'm sorry, 6C, which is discussion and action to issue the permit to the Harper Cemetery Board of Trustees to use and improve a portion of the Fillmore Street public right-of-way. And that last little segment was an accident. It should have been left off. Okay.
And that permit was to incorporate the bollards and the boulders, right?
It was, because that was what the town council had agreed to in February.
And the planning commission.
And the planning commission too had agreed to do both.
Well,
And Historic Landmarks recommended it. Can't vote on it, but they
are we still in the discussion phase right now?
Yes.
Yeah, right. There's a motion and a second, right? And we're discussing it.
Yeah.
Well, I could go for the bollards, but after seeing the lay of the land, literally, I just don't see the value of the boulders. I just don't see it. There's just not enough room for them up on the hill. And they're not going to protect the fence in any way if they're actually sitting on the street side right of way. There's only, it looks like only about 12 or maybe 18 inches at the place where the fence meets the ground, where it's embedded in the ground. There isn't any room for boulders up there that I can see.
Ed, has the Historic Foundation been involved in any manner with this? Are you familiar with this? No?
I'm familiar with it, but no, the foundation's not involved.
Okay.
Councilmember Petrikounis has his hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, the beginning of this conversation when we got involved in this in the fall was to do all bollards. There were going to be 7 or 8 bollards that were going to be put up. That was originally what was going to be done. It was felt at the time that that would be fairly costly, as well as probably overdoing it. And we thought the boulders would be more fitting, more appropriate with the cemetery rather than having all these bollards standing up. So we were trying to.
The boulders and the extra bollards intending to protect? We know about the ones in front of the gate.
Right.
What are the other ones intending to protect?
Is to protect, to get protection on the fence as people back up the hill. Many people are going down the end of Fillmore, making a left, going down the hill, and they realize it's too steep, so they'll back up.
But they don't actually hit the fence because the fence is up.
Not that high up at that point. Further up the road, up Fillmore, it is much higher. But up by the gate, it's not that high. A truck can roll up over that pretty easily. And they are.
Barbara's. I'm sorry, Christian.
Pardon?
I was gonna say Barbara's raised a good point from the email that Maggio sent. Nancy raised, I think, the more important concern, which I guess hindsight is 2020, but creating liability for the town for an issue that I'm not sure is significant. Again, protecting the archway makes sense, but I would expect that the the Cemetery Foundation would carry some sort of insurance if there were to be damage in the future, knowing that something has happened in the past and there was an issue with, getting the money back to do those repairs.
Yeah.
Councilmember Wheelis has his hand up.
Yeah. Am I permitted to share an image?
Yeah. If you do a screen share, you bet.
Okay. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Let's see.
There it is.
There you go. Great.
You see that?
Yeah.
My point is that, yes, the berm is quite significant along the fence, except as you are right near the gate where it levels off. And so I could see the need for preventing cars from attempting to pull in there adjacent to the historic fencing. I mean, they could be set back nearly against the fence.
That's what, yeah, that was the plan.
But I do think it would provide some degree of protection.
But according to the map, the way the map looks, and again, the way the map looks and the way reality looks, it looks like the boulders are going to be set further up where the, how did you describe it, Ed, where it gets, where the berm gets higher? Not down there where Ed is showing with his picture, where the fence is lower.
The first boulder, let me just jump in because I did the map. The first boulder would be a 1 foot elevation. The second one is at 2 feet, and the third one is at 2.5 feet. I mean, if you want to drop a boulder, maybe we could do that. But we're going to need some protection on the lower gate. I mean, by the fence by the gate.
Well, where aren't the bollards going to be helping down at the?
They help at the gate, but they don't help on the fence. The fence, if the end of the fence gets hit, it's like they're all linked. it's huge damage. It's not just the fence gets bent. It's gonna take down sections of the fence.
I see.
Well, we got a motion and a second.
Yeah.
on this.
And, okay, so here's my deal. Here's my position. I know that we've had the Planning Commission working on this matter. We've had our Historic Landmarks Commission working on this matter. The town council has voted to approve a permit. I'm voicing some concern for increasing the town's liability by placing boulders in our rights of way. However, I am prepared to move forward with the vote to include both with my position to include both the bollards and the boulders.
Could I,
Little bit of hesitation on the boulders, but you know what? We've got two commissions that are very strongly come out in support of this, and I think we have to listen to our commissions.
Councilwoman Humes has her hand up.
now, I'm wondering if we could parse this a little more, and I could vote for the buyers, but I really don't feel comfortable about the boulders being, and especially being placed on the higher end where the fence isn't really at risk versus the lower end that Ed showed us, where I could see there could be some risk. And I don't know if the boulders would be more effective being down there. I just don't see them up along the upper part of the fencing. I understand that the fence is connected and could go down like dominoes if the lower end were hit. Well, that would be where the boulders should go then, or additional bollards. But the fence can't be taken out as you go further up the hill.
Okay. Are there any further discussion items on
Yeah,
this?
I also wanted to add that the historic, the Harpers Ferry Cemetery Board has been involved in this as well. I mean, they're good with this. It's not like they're ignorant of it. So there's been a lot of people that's looked at this.
Yeah, I understand that. But
and given a lot of study. I don't know why, Barb, you didn't do this much earlier in the process when we were working on it.
I was just going by the map. I was going by the map.
Yeah.
Well, you could have walked up there and checked it.
But I didn't.
Well, I just want to offer one point just for some context. I believe the language of the permit includes that the town can rescind that at any time it wants to. So, you know, this isn't, if this presents a larger issue once these are installed, could address that then. And I think it might be good to have a conversation at the point of installation or just before to make sure everything makes sense in the placement and the possibility of maybe reducing from 3 of them to 2 of them, just to make sure they're in the exact spot they absolutely need to be. And then we can go from there. This is not set in stone.
Right. I would
Very good, Jay.
Oh, man.
I would tend to agree that that the installation can be modified or made to look like the map that we saw. So again, I think we've talked about this issue. So let's just.
And I hope everybody's had an opportunity to review the actual language of the permit that I drafted, because Jay is correct. It does say that we have the ability to rescind or whatever.
Yeah, if there's a safety issue there, or you know, somehow we're affecting the flow of traffic or parking or turning around or emergencies, then of course we'll have to do the right thing and do something about it. So,
right.
Okay, so
we have a first and a second on the budget item.
Right. So Kevin, would you run a roll call vote on that, please?
Yeah, Christian, can you repeat the motion, please?
Sure. I move to follow the recommendation of the Budget and Finance Committee to approve up to $2,800 to purchase and install boulders and bollards in the Fillmore Street right of way to provide protection and preservation of the gate and fencing at the cemetery from budget line 906 Arts and Humanities.
Can I
Okay.
ask
Thank
a question before we vote? And I don't know if you call it a point of order or a clarification.
Yeah, be brief. We've got a lot of other things that we're going to.
Again, if I can go for part of it, but not all of it, I have to vote. I cannot.
Vote no.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I will second Christian's motion this time.
Okay. We had a second. Kevin, please run a roll call. vote.
Yeah, it was seconded previously.
Okay, I don't remember who seconded it.
Ed did.
Okay, thanks, Ed.
Okay, Barbara Humes.
I'm going to be a contrarian. I'm going to vote no.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I understand.
Jay Premack,
I will vote aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
I'm also going to vote aye.
Ed Wheelis,
Aye.
and I vote aye, Mayor.
Okay, just based on the level of detail that we usually cover with our items, I'll vote no on this one. Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the actual permit, right, Mr. Bishop, Mayor Bishop?
Yeah.
Okay, so if everybody will pull up the actual permit itself, the language of the permit. And for Ed, since he's new, pursuant to Article 909.03, whenever an improvement is made to a town-owned right-of-way, that permit is issued by the Planning Commission and the Town Council as prescribed by the Town Council. So that's why you're seeing the Town Council draft this permit. The amount is $2,800. The address is what it is. It does have an expiration of when the work must commence and must be completed. I believe there was one thing that I changed in this permit from the Planning Commission. Maintenance of the improved right of way with the bollards and boulders will be the sole responsibility of the Harper Cemetery Trust and is subject to all relevant portions of the ordinance of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry.
I cannot find that. It says the list is invalid, so I don't find that specific.
You mean the actual permit itself?
Yeah, I can't find it.
Hold on one second, Barbara, and all of Town Council. It was submitted some time ago, a request to be on an earlier meeting, but it was pushed to
It's
this.
not our packet.
Yeah. Does everybody else have it, or do I need to see that to Barbara?
I saw it in the former folder, but not in the
All right, no problem.
public docs.
Everybody else has it?
Find it.
Because I'm sending it to Ed and to Barbara. Oh, hell, I'll just send it to everybody.
Send to everybody.
Yeah.
I think the label's there, but it's not the right thing.
I understand. Let's see, Barbara, Ed, Jay, Wayne, Kevin, and Christian. I think this is everybody. All right, headed your way. And it is up on the Harpers Ferry website for the public to see it. Should be a PDF, Barbara, of the
Yeah,
actual.
this came in.
Okay, great.
I've got it now.
Okay, so I've adopted the same language as the Planning Commission recommended to us, but felt the need to add the item number 5, which is the maintenance of the right of way with those bollards sitting there. And if the bollards are ever busted or broken or have to be removed or whatever.
Yeah, they're going to be the responsibility of the Harpers Ferry Cemetery.
Okay. And so, Mayor Bishop, this is for your signature and the applicant, who is Ann Duncan, the president representing the Harper Cemetery Board. Okay.
Councilmember Wheelis has his hand up.
Okay.
Christian, or anyone, does anyone know who will have the access to remove the center bollard?
From my it's the cemetery itself. And
Okay.
they're only going to have it available. It'll be locked. They're going to use it only to let in lawn equipment, maintenance equipment, as well as hearses.
Fire department.
If like Midge raised the issue of emergency access, if that should arise, it may be wise to provide, if it's a lock or whatever, a key to emergency responders in the area.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's a good point, because if they go there and need to get in, they're gonna get in. So,
Well, if somebody's already in, they're probably dead and don't need emergency response. I'm just saying. No, but it's all really good. It's a great, good thinking.
my point seriously, if an emergency vehicle had to get in there to a pedestrian that was hiking on the trail or something, they're gonna get in. So it would be a good idea if they had a key, because otherwise they'll get in.
Yeah, I can actually add that language. If somebody wants me to add a sixth element to say access must be granted to Harpers Ferry or emergency responders, I can add that and we can vote on this as amended.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to discuss amending number 2 to be more specific about the location of the boulders being in areas that are the grade is flat from the ground. There's not an incline. This is where it's necessary.
Okay.
What is your recommended language?
Well,
because we can't vote on this if we don't have the language that you're going to amend.
I'll need a minute just to think about it.
Okay.
That clause that says close to the restored iron fence, comma, might be where you could insert something about on the flat land near.
Can you please identify what line you're looking at? So I can.
She's looking at number 2 with you.
We're on 2 with me. Oh.
I didn't hear feedback if anybody wanted me to add item number 6 about allowing emergency.
I think so.
Okay.
Ed, do you recall the approximate distance from where the fence starts at the archway to the west, where it starts to, the picture you had showed some damage to the fence, presumably from a vehicle backing up, as Christian's mentioned. But I'm trying to figure out another way to approach this, which might be just limiting that space where those boulders can be placed.
There's a pretty good depiction on Google Street View, and the shoulder is relatively low slope, within the placement of the boulders shown on Christian's map, which doesn't extend. Is it York Street that intersects Fillmore there?
Yes.
It's the boulders all seem to appear about within the width of York Street, a little further to the utility pole at the corner, but all within that first street width. So I don't think that the slope increases significantly until beyond that.
Just taking a quick look on Google Maps.
They're also 5 feet apart, so a vehicle can't go between them. That was another reason why they're that close. And originally they wanted 6.
So the boulders from one end, the far left boulder, to the right end of the far right boulder would be 10, let's see.
The map I provide is in scale, so.
Okay, 2, 4, 6, 16 feet, it looks like. 16.
From the corner?
No, let's see. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 17 feet.
While you all are thinking, I've added number 6, emergency responders must be provided permanent access in order to remove center bollard to gain entry as needed. May change that to all emergency responders. However you do that, whether it's a key or a code or whatever drops that bollard, all emergency responders, fire, police, ambulance need to have that.
Maybe there'll be no lock on it.
Whatever.
My concern is you'll need the bar that it appears to be a bar that slides in to pivot it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they can buy extra bars or make the bar available in a special place where they can find it and know where to find it.
Well, usually what you do if you want the fire and police to be able to gain access there, you put a box there. It's called a Knox box, and they have the key to the Knox box, and the keys are inside of the box. So not to complicate this issue at all, but that's
Okay.
it's kind of like a real estate box. You know, they have a key to it. You open it up, and there's the key. So I'm sure we can work through that once we.
Okay, so I've added number 6. Am I waiting for language for number 2?
I'm just reviewing the maps. If it's limited to the width of the York Street right-of-way as extends through Fillmore, I think that would be sufficient.
That would be a 30-foot right-of-way.
Well, the right-of-way it's tricky because you've already got the fence and the archway, which if you're on the west side of York at the intersection of Fillmore, the cemetery, I think.
Fillmore
begins
is 50, York is 30. Right.
Right, I'm talking about York.
And by the way, we close that street in the winter. That's another thing. Someday we should have a gate on it. Another day.
Okay.
I'm going to just, I can't be as specific as I'd like to be, and I don't think this is the time really to be rehashing this, but I think that's important that when this stuff gets laid down that could do a little walkover and just confirm the locations in person.
Yeah, and perhaps as a member of town council, somebody wants to go with whenever they're doing the installation. My last sentence does say the town has plenary power over its rights of way, and if deemed necessary, may exercise the right to ask them to remove. So, or move. All right, so hold the phone. Where is my language for emotion? Here it is. No, it's not. Lord Almighty, way too much on this stuff. I move. And I will send this to you. Actually, it's going to be exactly, Kevin, as it is on the bottom of my agenda request form. Do you need me to send it to you? I'll send it to you. Don't worry.
Agenda request form. Yeah, if you can send that to me, because it's not in an editable format here or one that I can copy.
I move that the town council issues a permit granting the use of the Fillmore Street public right of way, that portion on the south side of Fillmore Street from the east end towards the west, for approximately 35 feet, and further granting the improvement of said public right-of-way, which shall be pursuant to all design standards and conditions as set forth within the attached to the permit. It is understood by all parties that the Fillmore Street public right-of-way remains a town-owned right-of-way, that the town is not granting a permanent easement to the Harper Cemetery Board of Trustees, and that the town has plenary power over its rights of way, and if deemed necessary, may exercise the right to legally rescind the permitted use and ask that any improvements be removed at no cost to the town.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Well, I had a few of those. Give it to Ed. I think Ed was
Give it to Ed.
in the box. Okay, is there any further discussion? Then
There is, only in that I should add and issue the permit as amended. So I will send that as amended because we just added number 6, granting emergency responders access.
Okay.
And now is there a second?
Still a second.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion. Kevin?
Yes. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petrokonis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis,
Aye.
and I vote aye, Mayor.
Aye. Okay. We're going to move into our water department, our general report, and there's a bit of work there. So I think we've got some guest speakers here this evening. And Deb, can you introduce who's coming into the meeting?
Yes, we've got Bill Robinson, the Water Commissioner, Chris Steyer, Plan Superintendent, and Cam Segrist, our bond attorney for the water project. I should be entering the meeting now. You guys will be on mute when you come in, so please take a moment and unmute yourselves, and you may want to adjust your video, please.
All right.
Bill, can you take the lead here?
I can. For our general report, through the ongoing efforts of our waterworks staff, water loss for the month of February is at 14.02%.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is, I mean, we want to be here consistently, and being able to have it be this kind of low 2 months in a row is, I don't want to get too excited about what we ought to be doing, but for us, that's earth shaking. So Chris and the team have done a great job bringing us into compliance and keeping us there. So I assume the streak will continue.
That's great news. That's the best report I've ever heard on our water loss in 30 years.
Yeah, we're pretty excited, and we're hoping that numbers like that eventually get boring, so we can keep it there all the time. Over the last 4 to 5 weeks, several water main leak repairs were undertaken. Though being short-staffed has caused greater water loss as a result of such leaks. And one project is going to require some outside assistance in order to be done safely, because we just don't have a full complement of staff. Once a water staff is full, our leak repair response time and our water loss performance should continue to improve. So we're looking to continue to get better at this. And on the cusp of this project, it's nice to get things in their current state as much under control as we can. We have an announcement. One of our current staff, Sean Vaney, passed his certification for operator class 1, and congratulations are in order. And he's worked very hard to get to that point, and we're excited to see all of the guys we have currently are now certified operators of some level, and we expect that trend to continue. As contemplated in the water, for lack of a better description, the water infrastructure projection worksheet that we presented to the town council on February 8th. We are moving forward with our radio read program, and that's meters that can be read remotely from a vehicle driving down the street without having to get out. We're replacing aging and malfunctioning meters with modern radio read capability, giving us greater accuracy and granularity of usage data, and cutting man hours required to read the meters each month. And so both of those should, having more accurate meters and less man hour time to read them, both of those should represent a positive in our cash flow. And to that end, Chris Steyer has communicated with two of the primary vendors of these meters, and we're currently working on a proposal to bring before this body in the near future. And this meter replacement effort includes the large master meters at Bolivar Court and Potomac Terrace, the apartment complexes on Cheney. One of those in fiscal year 21, one of those in fiscal year 22, which will also improve the accuracy of our billing and recapture potential revenue currently being lost to slower meters that have, aged and become less efficient and slowed down, which means they're not reading accurately. Back to this. All right. On the agenda, the next item on the agenda here that I have is what looks like the final reading of, let's see it, that's not the right agenda. All right. Consideration of and final action on the resolution approving the first requisition of proceeds of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry Water Revenue Bond Series 2021.
I think Cam Sechrist could speak to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really have the. Is Cam unmuted?
Cam, are you?
Good evening, Mayor,
Okay.
members of council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you again. The agenda item is the approval of the first advance of the proceeds of the revenue bonds that you gave final approval to at your meeting on February the 8th. Just as far as the logistics, we have a pre-closing scheduled for tomorrow morning and a final closing date and funding date of Thursday, March the 11th. So the approval tonight is the first advance of proceeds of the bonds. Hopefully you've had a chance to review that. There are three payments for new invoices, one to Dobson and Foreman for $250,000 for engineering fees. The second is to our firm for our bond counsel fees. And the third would be to the Region 9 for an installment on their fee as a program or project administrator. And then you'll see a line item for $253,950, which is a combination of various costs that you've already paid for that qualify for reimbursement from the proceeds of the bonds. So that check would be actually written back to the Corporation of Harpers Ferry Waterworks to reimburse you for the $253,950 for things you've already paid for that can be used for the water system. So I will pause for a moment and see if there are any questions about what we're asking you to approve tonight.
Council member Case has her hand up.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sechrist. Yes, I read over the resolution and I see clearly where there's three vendors and then the Corporation of Harpers Ferry being paid on this resolution. I just want to clarify that the Corporation of Harpers Ferry is being the Corporation of Harpers Ferry Waterworks is being reimbursed $253,950 for monies that it's already paid out of its budget for these items that are on schedule number 1. Am I correct in that?
You are correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I just want to confirm that already the Corporation of Harpers Ferry Waterworks has paid $170,000 to Gwen Dobson and Foreman. This $250,000 is in addition to that $170,000.
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
Okay, and already there's been a certain amount paid to Bowles Rice, and this $38,500 is in addition to that.
That's not actually correct. We've not been paid anything towards our bond counsel fee. Hoy Shingleton's office was
My
paying.
apologies, you're right.
No apologies needed. Hoy Shingleton's firm was paid for the Public Service Commission work.
Got it. Okay, just wanted to, the shocking number, of course, is to Gwen Dobson, but it isn't to imply at all that they haven't earned every penny of it. It's just clarification on my part.
Certainly. Any other questions?
If not, I could make a motion.
Okay.
And I move to approve the first requisition of proceeds of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry Water Revenue Bonds, Series 2021, for a for a total of, and I'm not sure I've got this right, $253,950.
You have it correct.
Actually, the amount that would be advanced would be the total of $562,450.
Oh, for what has been for our soft costs and for the additional costs. Yeah. Okay. So instead of $253,950, what is the total? And
the total amount that would be advanced would be the $562,450, and that's the total of the $250,000 payable to the engineering firm, the $38,500 payable to our law firm for the bond counsel work, $20,000 for Region 9 as the program administrator fee, or a portion of it anyway, and then the remainder of $253,950 is the amount that would be paid back to the Harpers Ferry Waterworks for the costs that they've already paid and they're being reimbursed for from the bond proceeds.
Okay, so let me start over again with the motion. I move to approve the first requisition of proceeds of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry Water Revenue Bonds, Series 2021, relating to construction and other services for the water project for a total of $562,450.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, Kevin, would you please run a roll call vote on this?
Yes, Nancy, you seconded that, correct?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me just a second. Okay, Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis,
Aye.
and I vote aye, Mayor.
Aye. Motion passes. Let's go on to the next item.
Okay. Consideration of and final action to approve an amendment to the accounting services agreement with Cox Holiday Young PLLC relating to the bonds and the project being financed with the proceeds of the bonds.
Yes, Cox Holiday and Young provided additional services beyond what initial expectations would be. We have to amend the original agreement with the original accounting services agreement with Cox Holiday and Young. Deb, I don't know if you can add more to that.
I could, but probably Ken might do a better job than me.
I'd be glad to try. The original proposal from the Cox Holiday Young firm was for $14,900, and that's what was included in the original budget in your letter of conditions from the USDA. As you well know, the work of the accountants was far greater than was originally expected. I think they ended up doing 3 different Rule 42s, which is one of the key documents that they have to prepare for your Public Service Commission proceedings and for your rate making. And so their total amount came to $34,500. And the USDA needs a more current written agreement in order to be able to fund the invoices that are being reimbursed for the accounting services you've already paid. So we've asked Cox Holiday and Young to provide an amendment to the contract reflecting the $34,500, and that will support the reimbursement of, we're capped at $29,800. That was the total amount that was available in the budget for that.
So could you confirm the first budget amount, the original budget amount? I thought you might have said 14,000 and change.
He did 14,900.
14,900 was the original proposal from the very beginning of the project. And after they've done the additional work that was required, it came to $34,500. And we have invoices that support that have been paid. And we're simply trying to get the agreement amended to reflect what's actually been dispersed for their work.
Was this number changed? I have a document that references 16,900.
That was a prior draft that misstated the original amount, the 16.9. I'm not quite sure where that came from, but the amount in the original budget was 14,900. And you can ignore the 16.9. That's a stray reference that has been changed to the 14.9.
Thank you, sir.
And council one member Case has her hand up, and I apologize. That may have been my error with that one document. There were quite a few iterations of that document going back and forth over the weekend. So my apologies. Councilwoman Case has her hand up.
Sure. I will just simply say that you've got at least 4 town council members who are on this body tonight who haven't been part of this whole process. You all have. And so we're going to rely, I am going to rely greatly on your expertise and your guidance in this matter. I don't doubt for a second that Cox Holiday has stepped forward and done the work. So Barbara, if you have a motion and are prepared to make it, I think that'd be great.
Okay. I move to approve an amendment to the accounting services agreement with Cox Holiday and Young for an additional $19,600.
Can you say what the total is, please?
For a total of $34,500.
Yes.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Yep, I second it.
Okay, and any further discussion? Hearing none, Kevin?
Yes. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis.
Aye.
I vote aye, Mayor.
Aye. Okay. We continue.
All right. Discussion and action on possible other actions relating to the bonds and/or the project being financed with the proceeds of the bonds. Are there any?
Mayor, I'm not aware of any. That's more of a placeholder in case something would have popped up after we posted the agenda and the meeting that required action for the pre-closing and closing. So I'm the one to ask for that agenda item. I'm not aware of any, but I'll refer to the council to see if there's any other actions that are required from their point of view.
I don't think we have any further action.
You're a smart man, Mr. Sechrist.
Oh, I'm not sure
You
about
never
that.
know. You never know if you're going to need
Always
something.
good to have a catch-all.
Okay, so am I to assume the discussion and action is no action?
Correct, yeah, Mayor, that's correct.
Okay.
Other than I'd like to just thank the council for the opportunity to be your bond counsel for the transaction, and I wish you the very best with your water project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we thank you for all your support and your service.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. If there's nothing further, Mayor, may I excuse myself from the meeting?
Yes, thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
Okay.
All right.
Bill?
Next item is discussion and action regarding an ordinance amendment to appoint a Bolivar representative to the Water Commission, ordinance 901.02, membership and term of office. And that's for the municipality of Bolivar.
And
Yeah.
excuse me for interjecting. Sandy Mara has requested to enter the room on behalf of the Bolivar Council for this part. Is that acceptable? Right.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're moving.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and convert her in then. Here we go. Okay.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna raise my hand.
Is there agenda language that somebody has, is there an ordinance language that somebody has
Yes, it
drafted?
should be in your packet. It should be in your packet.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's in the folder.
All right, let me just go to the Harpers Ferry website folder.
And I can give some background on this.
Barbara.
Let me know when you're ready.
Has everyone found what they were looking for?
No, but go ahead. You don't wait for me. I'll find it.
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, I can.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Okay. In our Harpers Ferry ordinances, ordinance number 901.02, membership, term of office for the Water Commission. We are allowed to have at least 3 and no more than 6 members. Currently, the language there says that all but one of these members shall be residents of Harpers Ferry, except that the member who is not a Harpers Ferry resident shall be a resident of the Harpers Ferry Waterworks service area. And that is all of the area outside of our municipality, including Bolivar and including the non-municipal areas of, say, Bolivar Heights, Cavalier Heights, and in the county. Bill Robinson currently fills that seat. What we would like to do is to keep that seat, but change the designation to be more, to add a seat specifically for Bolivar, and to have the seat that's currently occupied by Bill Robinson to be outside of the 2 incorporated areas. So the language would read thusly: the commission shall have at least 3 and no more than 6 members. Let me follow this here. All of whom shall be qualified by knowledge and experience in matters pertaining to the operation of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry and the Harpers Ferry Waterworks, and all of whom shall be nominated and confirmed by the town council. Here's the additional language. All members of the commission shall be residents of the Harpers Ferry Waterworks service area. The town council may appoint up to 2 members of the commission who are not residents of Harpers Ferry, 1 from the town of Bolivar and 1 from the unincorporated area.
Okay. All right. I see what you're trying to say, and I think it's a really good idea. However, unless I'm reading this wrong, the language is a little bit loosey-goosey. I think what you want to say, you have up to 6 members. I think what you want to say is all members of the commission shall be residents of the Harpers Ferry, with the exception of the town council may appoint up to 2 members. Because the way this reads is it says all members of the commission shall be residents of the Harpers Ferry Waterworks service area, period. That means none of them have to be residents of Harpers Ferry. So I would just encourage you to change that to say all members of the commission shall be residents of the Harpers Ferry, period. the town council may appoint up to 2 members of the commission who are not residents. Or however.
Well, another simpler way might be to say all members of the commission shall be residents within the Harpers Ferry Waterworks service area.
No, because basically when you write that way, Barbara, what you're saying is all 6 members could be residents of outside of the corporation of Harpers Ferry.
Okay, I see what you say.
So
Yeah.
what it should say is all, I believe, and Kevin jump in as the other member of the ordinance review committee, all members of the commission shall be residents of Harpers Ferry, with the exception, the town council may appoint up to 2 members of the commission who are not residents, 1 from the town of Bolivar and 1 from unincorporated. And you might actually refer to another one of our ordinances. I think it's the, there's another one that allows us to do this.
I have my hand raised.
Kevin.
I'm sorry, I'm lowering my hand. Yes.
Kevin, and then, okay.
I was actually typing an amended version of the suggested language here myself while you all were talking. And I'm trying to find where the problem is that you're talking about.
The first sentence. Just read the first sentence standalone by itself.
In the first sentence of the suggested language?
Yeah, underline.
Okay, because what I have is my amended suggestion is all members of the commission shall be residents within the Harpers Ferry Waterworks service area.
Okay.
Right, got that so far?
Okay.
The town council may appoint up to 2 members of the commission who are not residents within the municipal limits of the corporation of Harpers Ferry. 1 from the corporation of Bolivar and 1 from the unincorporated area of Jefferson County.
So you're prepared to put somebody on from Kearneysville?
No.
They have to live within the Harpers Ferry Waterworks service area, and it says
But when
that
you
in
said
the
Jefferson
first
County,
sentence.
you said
It
Jefferson
says that
County.
in the first sentence. All members of the commission shall be residents within the Harpers Ferry Waterworks service area.
Okay, but if you just stop with that sentence, you could appoint 6 people who aren't residents of Harpers Ferry Incorporated.
How?
No, because the sentence that follows it limits the first sentence.
Yeah, you're looking at the
it doesn't
paragraph,
limit
not
it.
the individual sentence.
It doesn't limit it. The town council may appoint up to 2 members. The first sentence is what's so restrictive. All members of the commission shall be residents of the Harpers Ferry water service area. Perfect. That's great. That's wonderful.
Mhm.
The next sentence says the town council may appoint up to 2 members of the commission who are not residents of Harpers Ferry. Are you saying that the assumption then is that the other 4 are residents of Harpers Ferry?
Yes.
Okay, if that's a strong enough assumption for you, it works for me.
Yes.
Did this go before ordinance review committee, or is this happening in real time?
No, it needs to go before the ordinance review committee.
Yeah, this
Actually,
this
or
is-
town council. It could do both. It could be ordinance review committee or town council.
Right, and we, as the town council, we can, if we want to go ahead with first reading of this ordinance, we would first have to make a motion and approve that motion to waive the, what is it called? The ordinance.
Obligation to go.
Ordinance approval procedure. It has a proper name. I can't remember what it is. We've done that before. We've done that twice before.
I'm curious to hear from Sandy Mara, and I'm also inclined for this to actually go before the ordinance review committee to actually have a thoughtful analysis. It's not happening during a normal town council meeting.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks, Mayor, for having me for a few minutes. So, yeah, and thank you, Barbara and the commission. I'm really happy that you are already taking this under consideration. I guess, Councilmember Case, I'm not sure I necessarily share with you your overarching concern in so much as, you know, as long as people are part of the service area served by the water department, I'm not sure why it matters where they live, since they're paying the bills and they have something to say about, the quality of the water and how well it's managed. So, we just felt that under the current plan, and certainly, we're dealing with the majority of customers that you have. And the latest increase, I think, regardless of, and I certainly know the commission has done everything they can to communicate that this was coming, but that's always different than when it actually arrives. And so I think that, we're getting a lot of questions and concerns. I also think that overall we have a preponderance of lower income families that have been particularly hit in the last year. So, this is a big thing that's happening right now with this increase in the water bills. And so, and there's also questions about how you're going to move forward, understanding the loan's not covering the whole project, that we really felt like we needed more direct, and this is no reflection on Bill either, but that really with the town and the responsibility that we have to our citizens, and being your primary customer, that having specifically designated a Boulevard seat on that commission moving forward is something that we feel would be really valuable and would give us a more direct tie, and hopefully can also add value to the work of the commission. So that's what I wanted to share with all of you.
I agree.
Thank you.
If I can make just a minor modification then. All members of the commission shall be residents of the Harpers Ferry Water Works Service area, 4 of which shall be residents of Harpers Ferry. That's it, comma, 4 of which shall be residents of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry. Then
Well-
continue. The town council may appoint up to 2 members of the commission who are not residents of Harpers Ferry, 1 from the town of Bolivar and 1 from unincorporated.
Well,
Here's the
you might
problem
not
with
always-
that. The commission could have as few as 3 members.
Yeah.
And it has.
Ah,
I want to go back to, if I can butt in here, I want to go back to the way Nancy worded the first time. And it might be the best way to assure that we have not only our own personal understanding, but that it actually will work in reality. All members of the commission shall be residents of Harpers Ferry, with the exception that the town council may appoint blah, blah, up to 2 members of the commission who are not residents of Harpers Ferry, 1 from the town of Bolivar and 1 from the unincorporated area. It's simple.
and the other thing you might do just to like lessen the severity of it is lose the word all. Members of the commission shall be residents of Harpers Ferry.
Yeah.
With the exception of, the town council may appoint up to 2 members of the commission who are not residents of Harpers Ferry, 1 from the town of Bolivar and 1 from the unincorporated area.
And we can say unincorporated service area.
Whatever you wanted. I understood the intent. We want a Bolivar representative. Yay! And we
Point
want,
of order, could this please be referred to the ordinance review committee to do this business where it should be done, not a town council meeting?
Yes.
you know what?
Jerry, I fully agree. I think, I'm in full agreement that they should have a seat. A resident of Bolivar should have a seat. I'd like the ordinance committee to bring forward, once they complete their work, a clean item we can go ahead and vote on.
This is just so close. It's so close.
Well,
We're just burning through time here. I support, I think Bolivar needs to have a seat at the table. As Sandy's pointed out, they are a huge part of the ratepayer base. But it just, we're cranking through this business that I don't think this is the place for it.
Sandy, did you have an additional concern? Okay.
Okay. So that would be my request, is that our ordinance review committee bring a clean motion and work to the council, and then when you do, we can vote on it.
Thank you. I appreciate being heard. Good night.
Thank you.
So if we're in general agreement there, that's what will take place. We'll look at it at our next meeting or special meeting.
Okay, do we call this being tabled or do we call this being postponed?
It's neither one. if there's agreement here, then there's a consensus to refer it to the ordinance review committee.
So be it.
So be it.
So, yeah,
Okay, items 6 and 7 have been moved to the end. So we are at item 8, discussion and action on the purchase of utility vehicle for waterworks. Does everyone have in their packet the information about the vehicles, and did that get disseminated?
Not the
Yeah, it's
original
there.
packet.
Okay. Currently, the guys, we have 2 trucks. One is a Dodge pickup truck that's just a few years old. It's just a regular pickup truck. And then we have another regular pickup truck that is on its last legs. It's the Toyota Tundra, and that's the one that's being replaced. And given the scope of the work that our guys do on a regular basis, before we had this construction project, they were not, the truck was not providing the usefulness that they required for both construction, because we do asphalt repair and things like that. We do a lot of construction work that your typical operator in a water utility would not be doing in other municipalities. We give them the whole, they do all of that instead of having a separate construction department. And so we've been sort of limping along with regular pickup trucks hauling equipment that they're not really designed to haul, storing tools that they're not really designed to store. All of this makes them less efficient. And as you know, we relatively recently acquired a mini excavator that we do not have a truck to tow other than the dump truck, which is not only unwieldy, but puts wear and tear on a vehicle that we have for another purpose and shouldn't be using it to tow things around town. So we did quite a bit of research. Chris Steyer spearheaded the research in finding an acceptable vehicle that would suit their needs. And we have chosen the Chevrolet, and we looked at used, we looked at new, the financing options and the price for used vehicles were not sufficiently, the financing was worse and the price was not sufficiently less to justify not going ahead with a new vehicle. So we have proposed, and let me pull this up so I'm looking at the right thing. Anyway, we've proposed to purchase the Chevrolet truck, and it's going to be for, Chris, do you have the numbers in front of you?
have it.
$62,293.
Right.
62,293.
And the financing arrangement will put it at about $650 a month over 72 months. And that gives it, that it's something we've already contemplated in our budget. It's a little bit more than we anticipated paying, but we're able to get the vehicle now and put it into service relatively quickly. And this will also save on man hours and wear and tear on other equipment, as well as wear and tear on our guys. So does anyone have any questions for Chris or I on this?
Yeah.
We've got a few raised
Okay.
hands. Council member Case has her hand up.
Okay, I'm trying to look at all of these attachments. So it looks like the truck itself is like 61,900. Is that true? The Chevrolet.
The truck is 62,293.
All right, then there's something that looks like it's some kind of attachment that goes on the top of the truck. Does that include that?
Yeah, can I explain what that is? That's a utility body. They removed the pickup truck body, the back. and they put on a new body that had its boxes. And they can get at their equipment from the side of the vehicle.
Does that $62,000 incorporate that?
Yes.
Okay, and how about the ladder rack on top? Does it
No.
incorporate that as well?
No.
No, it does not. No, it does
Okay.
not.
I think my bigger question is this, the the money for the purchase of this truck is coming from which account?
Capital outlay, auto, 341.2, as revised.
Town of Harpers Ferry or the corporation or the
Oh,
waterworks?
the waterworks, and this is part of the revision that was approved in February.
Okay. So we all know that we've had some snow removal and we have a new contract. What relationship does the Corporation of Harpers Ferry have with the Department of the Waterworks to be able to put a snow plow on a truck like this? Does a truck like this accommodate a snow plow? Could it be used for plowing in winter months? Blah, 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 blah. You know where I'm headed, right, guys? So finish the thought for me. Can this truck be used by the town of Harpers Ferry as well as the Waterworks Department?
Yes. Yes, it can.
It can be used for that.
And
Yes,
and
we made sure of that.
it's a big enough truck to accommodate a plow on the front end to move a lot of snow?
Yes,
It has the snow package.
I'm not saying that the Corporation of Harpers Ferry shouldn't pay the Waterworks Department something in rent or where that works, leasing equipment, however that all works out in the end. But I'd like for the equipment to be really very flexible in its use.
The
And then
use of the truck as a snow removal vehicle was contemplated in from the beginning of our search.
Okay, very
So
good.
that was part of the criteria.
And then the last question is, where's this truck going to be housed? Where's, I think we have all this space down there by the waterworks, but it's almost like we need a facility to house our equipment because we're getting a lot of equipment.
It's in the same, it's gonna be in the same place as where the Toyota Tundra was. And I'm also contemplating in the future of putting a what do you call it? Oh my God. Why can't I think of the word? Carport. For storing a two car carport for storing so I can keep the generator and stuff on board and keep our tools dry so I don't have to keep them inside all the time. So that the truck will be suited and ready to go on emergencies at any given moment.
Councilmember Jacanis has his hand up.
I've been involved in this with Chris after the fact, just to review because of my background in the auto business. This Chevrolet, even though it's a little more expensive than the other two vehicles, one, it's in stock. There's a VIN number. But the big thing is it's got dually wheels on it.
Yes.
This truck can really pull a lot of weight and carry a lot. And the engine alone in this one should last 20,000 hours or 350,000 miles. This is a heavy duty truck with a heavy duty truck engine, and this should last 10 to 15 years. Right, Chris?
Yes, I was going to bring that up. So Randy, the guy that I've been working with, we've seen he's seen a similar truck last 500,000 miles, provided that it was well taken care of. The other reason for the dual wheels is stopping power. So the more surface area that you have, and when you're hauling a large equipment that will be hauling, you want more rubber to the road, so to speak. So when you're stopping, you have more rubber actually touching the road, and so in emergency situations you have stopping
more
power.
traction.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a safety thing as well as a pulling thing. Barbara has her hand up, and then Councilmember.
No, I'm going to take my hand down. My question was addressed.
Okay.
All right, Councilmember Premack.
I'll defer to the mayor first, please.
Okay, I just had a comment. I think that certainly having good equipment for our water company is extremely important. And my comment just about snow plowing, I think that if you could use it for that's That's a good idea, but, and this won't be decided this evening, but if it was going to be used for that, you'd have to really prepare an extensive plan there, because typically when the town of Harpers Ferry is plowed, it often takes place throughout the night, round the clock, and there's lots of stuff that goes with that. So just something to think about in the future if you move forward with purchasing this truck, that you really have to put together a good plan on how you would utilize that. And it's very hard on a truck, the front end of a truck, to use it as a plow. So these are not negative comments. They're just things that you should think about if you're going to use it for that. And then the manpower and how people work around the clock and who does that, because that's an employee issue. So those are my comments.
I wanted to just comment. You mentioned the expected life of the vehicle, 10 to 15 years. It seems to me that you're going to be now taking on, over the next decade, the distribution system project, which will require use of this digger and other equipment that you might come up with. So it's going to be useful and probably necessary to accomplish your goals. Have you guys budgeted appropriately for maintenance funds? Because the duration, sort of the lifetime of that vehicle requires that preventative maintenance, which it gets more expensive the longer or older a vehicle is. So that's just critical that you guys have that carefully budgeted. Is that been accommodated for?
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Our budget does accommodate the maintenance and upkeep of the vehicles. Yes.
Of all vehicles, yes.
Sorry. I was gonna say, I understand that the 100 is costing a lot of money just to keep on the road. So it's, and the last question is this a gas or diesel vehicle?
Diesel.
Turbo diesel.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Thank you.
445 horsepower. The beat.
Are there any more questions?
Let me put my hand up.
Go ahead.
Okay. The financing terms, would it be 60 or month or?
I'll speak to that. It's 70. What the Water Commission voted on last meeting was a $20,293 down payment, a 72-month term, financed at 3.43% for a payment of $648 through the Bank of Charlestown.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I have one other comment. And this is something I don't know if Bill, do you think we should bring up the Rhino Guard or?
If we get that, we can include that here, or we can ask for it as a separate item.
Okay.
Is that a front end?
The coating of the bed to prevent damage that will lead to rust in the bed is an additional $850.
That's a no-brainer for the amount of wear and tear the truck will take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So including the $850 for the bed protection, which yes, that will save us a lot of money. Those beds are expensive.
If you're just thinking about where the money can go, excuse me for popping in, but when we evaluated the full amount of money that was approved in the February revision for the 341 capital outlay, and you consider all the truck payments that we currently have and making the down payment on this truck and 3 months of payments coming forward, we still have over $4,500 left in that line item for this fiscal year. So you have enough room to add it on just as a second item or as part of the loan.
Good.
Put in the loan.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions about the truck?
I would say, can I make one comment? If you're going to put it into the cost of the loan, I would increase the down payment so the loan amount remains the same, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
Okay, I'll attempt to put one together here. I move to purchase the 2021 Chevrolet 3500 HD Silverado. I'm going to say not to exceed $63,000 from capital outlay, line item 341.2, for 72-month financing terms from the Bank of Charlestown.
With a down payment
Oh, yeah,
of up to 21,000.
yeah.
And do we have an interest rate?
Yeah, it was 3.42 for
With an interest rate?
4.3. It's 3.43. And we'd be
Very good.
financing $42,000.
Okay,
72
so the down payment is 21,000. 21,000 even?
Yeah.
You were
I
looking
think-
at taking $800 for your
Right.
bedliner spray, which puts you over 21,000. It puts you at 21,93.
So it might be easier to say that you were going to put a down payment sufficient so that you finance $42,000.
Yeah.
Okay, are you going to recraft your motion?
Yeah. I think I've got it here.
Not that we're in any hurry.
Everybody can help. All right, I move to purchase the 2021 Chevrolet 3500 HD Silverado from capital outlay line item 341.2 on a 72-month financing terms from the Bank of Charlestown with a down payment sufficient to finance $42,000.
Okay,
Interest rate.
a second?
You don't have the interest rate in there, Barbara.
Uh,
3.43.
To finance
3.43 for
Yeah.
72.
to finance $42,000 at 3.43%
for 72 months.
Okay, is there a second to,
I'll second it.
okay, and any further discussion?
You.
Well, my only point would be with buying, expensive equipment like that, that we will expect it to be maintained,
Yes,
washed, waxed. And
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Armor all, those tires.
You're going to have a parade for that vehicle.
Based on that motion and second, would you run a roll call vote on this item, please?
Yes, Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis.
Aye.
I vote aye. Mayor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
So I'm
Thank you.
gonna put, excuse me for interrupting, Mayor, I'm sorry. I'm gonna take Bill and Chris and move them back to attendees for this portion of the meeting coming up, and I will bring in Ms. Roberta Mead and Mr. Weiscarver for the next part.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item E, you're welcome. Thank you. Planning Commission. And we've got a discussion and action on creating a task force committee to update the comprehensive plan.
Give me a sec here. Okay, I think we have made our switch.
Okay, we've got Roberta Reed Curry with us, I believe, and also Tim Wisecarver, president of our Planning Commission. And the item that I just mentioned was Planning Commission, discussion and action on creating a task force committee to update the comprehensive plan. So is everybody live now? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. And you're welcome to proceed.
Okay. My name is Roberta Mead Curry, and thank you, Mayor Bishop and Town Council members. And I'm here to kind of review some of the items discussed and hopefully move forward with the comprehensive plan that's been mandated for the Planning Commission. So pursuant to the Harpers Ferry 2007 comprehensive plan adopted in 2007 and amended in 2013, it basically states on page 4 that as policies and conditions change, the plan should be updated. And it further states that review of the plan to be undertaken every 5 years. Under the West Virginia Code, Chapter 8A, Article 3, Section 11, Paragraph A, which states after the adoption of the comprehensive plan, the Planning Commission shall review and make update at least every 10 years. So as we move through the timeline, which I presented, the initial task force was formed in 2004 for your adopted comprehensive plan in 2007. That took a period of 3 years. Your first review and amendments began in 2011 and was presented to the Town Council in 2012 and adopted in 2013, thereby meeting your 5-year obligation. The first 10-year update was due in 2014, and the second review in the 5-year increment plan was due in 2017. Your next 10-year update is due 2022. So if we look at that timeline, and if it took 3 years to get a full update done, we are, how we say, behind the 8 ball. We need to get going. And so what we're proposing is the development of the task force shall be immediate. The town is ready and overdue and for the reviews and to begin the update. As per the timeline I've suggested, 3 years to develop the original comprehensive plan. And if it took 2 years to present an adoption, then we are looking at possibly less than 18 months to get something in front of Town Council to meet our 2022 obligation. So what we're suggesting is the development of the task force. The task force would be nonpartisan. It would be composed of volunteers as your previous task force was. The task force shall be members of the following groups and stakeholders. And again, this can be certainly amended or updated and added to. So your previous task force consisted of 13 residents. It consisted of the mayor, the current administration, and we're certainly looking forward to the new administration to carry this task forward as well. Members of town council, current and past, town commissions and committees. Again, the initial lead, we are proposing the Planning Commission as mandated, take the main lead. The Budget and Finance Committee, the Historic Landmark Commission, Parks and Rec, the Harpers Ferry Parking Commission, the Tree Committee, Board of Zoning Appeals, Human Rights Commission, the Building Commission, which I'm not sure you have one, but if we do have one, I need to be familiar with who they are. Your police, fire department, and that is basically the compromising of the Harpers Ferry component. The community organizations, as we have outlined, and again, not limited to, but would be composed of the National Park Service, Appalachian Trail Conservancy, the Water Commission, Harpers Ferry Bolivar Merchants Association, the Harpers Ferry Historic Foundation Board, the Bolivar Town Council, Harpers Ferry Bolivar Historic Town Foundation, Trail and Town Alliance, who I just understand did a wonderful cleanup this weekend near the town hall. They did a great job. The West Virginia DOT, Department of Transportation, the Railway, Railway, I believe, and the Tourist Board. Again, a visitor center is about to open and we need to include them. And FEMA, Federal Emergency Management, for flooding and anything that we need that might be considered future planning for any disasters on the horizon. And again, that's not limited to those groups, but we feel we need to really include those groups as to have a complete and updated comprehensive plan. Again, as we get more into sustainability and things moving forward, green energy, green initiatives, maybe we start to put those things into the comprehensive plan. So item number 4 on my agenda item, responsibilities of the Planning Commission to lead the role, to take the lead role. And again, as in the Article 133, Section 133.01, paragraphs 8 and 9 in the Harpers Ferry zoning ordinances, the Planning Commission shall guide the growth of the community in accordance with the Harpers Ferry Comprehensive Plan. And the Planning Commission shall make recommendations for capital improvements in accordance with the Harpers Ferry Comprehensive Plan. So again, you've already mandated that the Planning Commission take the lead role and get this done. Pursuant to the Harpers Ferry Code of Ordinances, Section 133.08, in addition to such matters that the town council may direct, and maybe that's what we're asking for you tonight, are there any other matters you feel we need to be concerned with in this update to the comprehensive plan? And maybe you can outline some of those tonight, or basically communicate to the Planning Commission what needs to be done. Pursuant to the West Virginia Code, Article 3, Chapter 8A, Paragraph 3A, the Planning Commission shall prepare a comprehensive plan for the development of land within its jurisdiction. The Planning Commission shall then recommend the comprehensive plan to the appropriate governing body for adoption. So again, we've already been mandated to get this going. And then as we meet the deadline of 2022, we would come to the governing body with the revised updates for adoption. Section 11A, after the adoption of the comprehensive plan, as you've already done in 2007, the governing body, their adoption of that initial plan, the Planning Commission shall follow the comprehensive plan and review the comprehensive plan and make updates at least every 10 years. Per the Planning Commission's meeting of 2/16/2021, it was agreed by the members that the Comprehensive Plan Update Committee of Stakeholders should begin and to be formed and start the process to update the current comprehensive plan. So my action asking for this evening, and maybe Mr. Weiscarver can join me in this. We've had 2 volunteers that would have stepped forward to get this going as part of the members of the Planning Commission. That's George Owens and myself, Roberta Meade Curry. We'd like to start to form the task force, start to interview and question and ask for volunteers, post information around town that we are starting this process, and would welcome that the town council help move us forward. We also ask that the Harpers Ferry Planning Commission, once the task force is formed, understand that we may be needing to ask for funds. Maybe we need to put an amendment to a budget request. Once this task force gets going, we may have to have rooms. We will have to have public meetings. We will need room rentals and maybe publications as this information is moving forward. We have to do surveys. There is just a ton of work that needs to be done. So we would certainly be excited to get this started and look forward to the town council giving support to get this done. Thank you for your time. I have no further information, and I'm welcome to receive any questions.
I'd just like to say, I think it is an enormous undertaking, and I really appreciate your willingness to spearhead this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I concur. This is a monster task.
I would concur. It's a huge task, and thank you for stepping forward.
Council member Case has her hand up, and then Recorder Cardin.
Okay, I agree. Fortunately, it's a revision, an amendment. It's not the actual creation, which was a monumental task back in, I guess, 2007. Thank you for taking the initiative, for being proactive. It's necessary, it's critical. Do you know off the top of your head how much the Planning Commission has budgeted? Because I know those budget numbers are coming before Budget and Finance and the Town Council very soon, the next days, for the fiscal year 2022. Do you know what that number was? Maybe Deb can tell us too.
And I'll defer to President Weiscarver for that comment.
Okay, because you're right. You are going to have a hearing, as you well know. You've done your homework and your research, and kudos to you. And so while those will probably be virtual, it will incur some little additional expense. This is definitely the Planning Commission's purview to form the committee. I think it's really great that you've come before the Town Council for a vote for approval to form the committee. What's really critical is once you form the committee of all those real important stakeholders, once you form the committee, then the committee membership's names will be brought back before the Town Council for us to actually vote on them to be committee members. Other than that, I think what you're doing is great. And I commend you, and good, good for you.
Okay, so Recorder Cardin.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed the very last part of what you just said there because I was typing something. So you might have just asked the question that I was going to ask, but I don't think you did. Of the people who served on the group of people who looked at the comprehensive plan before, in 2013, 2012, whichever it was, and then the 2007 version. Have you reached out to any of those people to see if they would be interested in serving again
Yes,
on
we
the
have.
review of the comprehensive plan?
Yes, we have, and we've gotten a couple commitments already.
Great. There's only a handful left: Christy Huddle, Barbara Humes, Pat Morris, Linda Rago, Patrick Tierney, but they have great historical knowledge and historical understanding of putting that plan together.
Yeah, and Christy Huddle actually has a background in planning, so so she would be a fantastic resource if she would be willing to do it. I'm not sure if she would. I know she's very busy. She's involved in a lot of things already. But if she would be willing to do it, it would be fantastic. And by the way, thank you very much for all the work that you've done in researching this. I'm very impressed with the amount of research that you've done on that and what's involved and so forth. So thank you.
Yep. Okay, so again, Ms. Mead's coming to the Town Council. She's actually asking for us to take action and vote authorizing her to form a committee, authorizing the Planning Commission to form a committee. I don't know that that's required, but it certainly wouldn't hurt for the Town Council to make that authorization.
Shall I?
Just being precautionary.
Shall I try to cobble a motion?
Sure, you might even get it from the bottom of her agenda request form.
Oh, yeah.
Barbara, before you make a motion, I just have one question for Ms. Mead Curry. Do you have a sort of an idea of your anticipated finish date? Obviously, you want to meet the 2022 deadline, but I'm just wondering, knowing what's before you, do you have a picture of how this can go? I'm not asking for details, but I assume that there's a picture of where the end is and how you get there.
Again, thank you, Jay, for that question. I've already taken the time to put together some spreadsheets on what the goals and objectives were from your previous 2007. And I need help because I don't know the history. I need you to check off what's already been done. And can we remove some of those things, or do we need to keep those things on the agenda? But also too, and as with the committee forms and what we need to do, I would assume in order to meet the deadline, maybe we have to shorten the tasks. So let's go ahead and say, what are the priorities again? What has been accomplished? Let's check them off. What hasn't been accomplished? That's still your priorities. Let's get those done and let's move forward. And if there's new things that need to be added, okay, well, if they're a priority, let's move them up the list. But if there's something that is still needing more work, we'll table that for the next year 5 revision. Okay, so yes, we will tackle priorities, dot the I's and cross the T's, what's been done, take it off the list, and phase this to meet the deadline if that's what we need to do.
You had me at objectives.
I know, I saw your face light up.
Thank you.
Very good.
Did you find that, Barbara? You want to take a
I
take a
found
run
it.
at
Okay, I move to grant authority to the Harpers Ferry Planning Commission to begin development of a 2022 comprehensive plan update task force in order to be in compliance with the required updates of the comprehensive plan as per town ordinances and West Virginia code.
And you want to just add and to bring the committee forward to the town council for vote, nomination and appointment?
And once the task force has been proposed, it would be brought before the town council for approval of appointment.
Perfect.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a
I
motion and a
second that.
second. Is there any further discussion or questions for Ms. Mead Curry or the president of our planning commission?
Just want to thank her for her comprehensive research and doing her due diligence and understanding both Harpers Ferry ordinances and state code on this.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you, Roberta.
Okay, excellent. Hearing none, Evan, would you please run a roll call vote on that motion?
Well, let me ask, Barbara, could you please read that off one more time?
I'm not okay. I'm not sure I got the last. Be able to get the last one.
I got the last part of it, and I got the first part of it. I didn't get the middle.
Okay. I move to grant authority. Wait a minute. I move to grant authority to the Harpers Ferry Planning Commission to begin development of a 2022 comprehensive plan update task force in order to be in compliance with the required updates of the comprehensive plan as per town ordinances and West Virginia code, and something to the effect of when the task force has been formed, that the proposed members would be brought before the town council for appointments.
Perfect.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Got it. All right. Thank you. Okay. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis,
Aye.
and I vote aye, Mayor.
Aye. Okay, thank you for joining us this evening.
Does Mr. Wisecarver have anything to present also? Doesn't he have something else for the planning commission? Was there some other documents attached, like a disposition report or something like that?
Not that I know of.
No, there's
Okay,
nothing.
well, good. Thought I saw it, but I could be wrong.
Now, okay, moving along.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Mayor and Town
Good night.
Council.
Thank you. Item is our poet lawyer asking for a 2-minute report and a thank you.
I can't hear you.
Something's going on with audio.
Okay,
It's like
Somebody.
feedback.
are we still having a problem?
No,
Now
hang
you're
on.
okay.
We're okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the next item is Poet Laureate, and there was to be a brief general report. Is that person with us?
I saw him earlier.
There he is, George.
Okay. She'll just take a moment, I guess, to bring him into the meeting.
He's here, he's muted, video off.
I have unmuted.
Oh, there he is.
Okay. Do we have visual and audio?
No,
Just-
No?
Just audio, sir.
Just the audio.
Well,
Bottom left of your menu should give you video and audio if you don't see it.
well, since I'm using a cell phone, it might be challenging. I'll tell you what, if you'll just go with audio, then I'm good with that.
Yep, we can hear you fine, George.
I can see your smiling face. Well, good evening. I'm here to give this council a brief report and then a brief personal message, emphasis on brief. It was my intent 20 months ago when you constituted an Office of Poet Laureate to provide visitors for Harper's Ferry, another reason to come here physically, but we've had a little pandemic intervene. Those plans were postponed. However, I'd like to report to you what I've done in the meantime. Firstly, of course, I've been writing, that's what a writer does, and I have a 4th book coming out this year. Most publicly, the town staff and I have been publishing a monthly column in the newsletter featuring poets from around the area. Not mine, by the way, because this is not intended to be a vehicle of self-promotion. We've had a great response to that, by the way. Harper's Ferry also, by the way, is now represented in the West Virginia's Writers Association. I met with writers from 8 states prior to the pandemic and stay in contact with them. And lastly, and towards the idea of activities here, I have received enthusiastic approval from several members of the Women's Club to hold readings and seminars at their facility when the pandemic does give us a break. I have a coordinator for those events, as well as slates of participants, including a nationally known writer. With that, I'd like to enter a personal note here, the main reason why coming on this evening. This council is shortly to change. I wish to thank all of you, as well as Hardy, who's not here, and Charlotte, who are not here, for the chance to serve this town. And I hope to continue to do so. And with that, I'll take any questions you have and be on my way.
I just have a quick question, George. You mentioned that Harper's Ferry, I think you said recently became a member or recognized as the writers. Can you repeat that?
Yes, West Virginia has a West Virginia Writers Incorporated. And I've joined that, and with the idea of bringing the writers that we gather here into that as participants.
And you were able to accomplish that under your purview, if you will, as Poet Laureate?
They know who I am, and I did that as myself, and with a little footnote, Poet Laureate Harper's Ferry.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Barbara Humes, Council Member Humes has her hand up.
I think it's a great idea that you'll be working with the Women's Club to have readings and special events. I'm wondering if we could have a poetry contest.
Oh, that would be a delightful thing. And in fact, the daughter of somebody who works in City Hall there, in Town Hall, is a writer herself. And I'm trying to urge her to step forward. And let me say it, the Women's Club is a start. I do hold out a hope that we can get a hotel one of these days. And with that glowing hotel can attract half Becker's favorite poet, Billy Collins.
Oh, mine too.
Oh, yes. But I'm waiting until we get a hotel.
Thank you for your report, George.
Sure enough. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Hang on.
I lost the mayor.
I lost, yeah, sorry. Let me get him back here.
Instead of Elvis has left the building, the mayor has
Yeah,
left the
the
building.
mayor has left the building. I'm sorry.
There he is. He's back.
Mayor Bishop, you're muted by default. When you come in, you're muted.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, let's see here. On from Poet Laureate to our Parking Committee. And we've got an item here for discussion and action on the nomination and appointment to the Parking Committee.
Yay.
Yay. This is Christian. The Parking Committee, Hardy, of course, we know, has left, and he was on the Parking Committee, and he had brought aboard Patrick Tierney, but he was never officially voted on by the council. Nancy pointed that out, and we were out of process, and we apologize for that. So tonight I am going to make a motion that the town council nominate and appoint Patrick Tierney to the Parking Committee.
I second.
Okay, any further discussion, accolades?
I can tell you he's been with us for a bit, and he's been very, very helpful. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to parking.
I listened to the last parking committee meeting audio, and he dived right in. So kudos to Mr. Tierney, and hopefully he'll be appointed this evening.
Yeah.
Right, I have a point of order.
Sorry?
He's been nominated, no?
Yes, correct.
I
Thank you.
nominate Patrick Tierney to join the Parking Committee.
Right.
I second.
That doesn't require a second.
We just have to go around and vote him in, I think. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
so,
do your thing,
So
Kevin.
Christian, you've nominated Patrick Tierney to the Parking
Yes,
Committee,
I did.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. So now we can have further discussion if there is any.
Oh,
I think he's a great addition to the Parking Committee.
Yep.
Are we ready for the vote?
I think we are.
I think so.
Okay. So when I announce your name, since there's only one applicant, Patrick Tierney, for the Parking Committee, you can say yes or no. Barbara Humes,
Yes.
Jay Premack,
Yes.
Christian Petroconis,
yes.
Nancy Case,
Yes.
Ed Wheelis,
Yes.
and I vote yes, Mayor.
Yes. Okay, congratulations to Mr. Tierney.
And is there, I don't know that this has ever been decided. Are there expiry dates on Parking Committee members? I would think that there must be, but
No, it's
No.
sort of an ad hoc committee.
Actually, while we're on this conversation, the Ordinance Review Committee should discuss this. The Parking Committee started out as an ad hoc committee, but I think it's become pretty clear how relevant and how important parking and the committee and the revenue is to the town of Harpers Ferry. I think that merits further consideration by the Ordinance Review Committee in developing the committee itself.
All right,
Good
can I add that to our laundry list?
Okay,
Yes, we can. It's huge, Barbara.
I know, it's getting longer.
okay, so we can move along now into organizations and other reports, and we've got the Historic Town Foundation on tonight's agenda.
And I'm speaking for the foundation tonight as their chair. For those who don't know, the foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit that represents Harpers Ferry and Bolivar. Our mission is to unite the citizens of the town and to celebrate our history, beauty, and diversity, and hospitality to tourists in town. So we have several initiatives. Initially, we started as more focused on tourism development, and we used to run the primary website for that, but the merchants have since taken that over. So that's freed us up to do other things. We also have a goal for the beautification of town, and under that we secured the grant for the improvements along Potomac Street. We're involved in community service. We raised a lot of money for fire relief after the fire in the business district. We're also involved in historic preservation. We award an annual preservation award to a significant homeowner or business that's done a laudable job of restoring a historic home or business. We are in the process of purchasing First Zion through a small loan from the Preservation Alliance of West Virginia. We wanted to see that building preserved, and so we're working to accomplish that. Also, Cedar Hill Cemetery, we've been working to restore headstones at the cemetery. We're also trying to bring forward the histories of people in Harpers Ferry that may not be covered by the park's themes. So as part of that, we recently completed African American walking tour of Camp Hill that's available on our website, and soon we'll have a printed version of that to share with you and with visitors to town. I wanted to thank the council for the money that was contributed towards the roof at First Zion. That's going to be a big reach for our organization. It's an expensive project, but once we get a secure envelope around the building, and our next big project will be lead-based paint abatement. And then we can get in with some sweat equity and really start making some headway there. We also we're planning a charrette to get the community's input on the best use for that building. We kind of have a working concept of using it as a cultural arts center, but we do want to have a charrette and invite the public to weigh in on that. But of course, with COVID, that's been delayed. And so hopefully before the end of this year, we'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
We have a new website, historicharpersferry.org, and we invite you to visit that and keep up on the things we're doing. And the next event coming up is a Volks March in April, and we're hoping that can be accomplished safely, sort of as a self-paced, do-it-yourself walk through town, and followed by a hearty soup and bread dinner at the barn. So hope you'll join us there. And that's it for my report.
Okay, thank you.
Ed. Thanks, Ed.
Councilman Ed. And any other questions for Ed? If none, thank you for the report. Okay, some unfinished business. Item 6, we've got an update on the Corporation of Harpers Ferry's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Any reports from our task force?
I say this is Christian. I'm on the Jefferson County COVID-19 task force. You're probably aware that we were 55th out of all the counties, or last of all the counties in West Virginia in getting the vaccine. I sent, hopefully you read the email I sent recently, where we were getting about 300 vaccines a week. Now they're kicking it up to 1,780 a week for the next 4 weeks. All of these, most of these will be done at the Ranson Community Center that's been donated. The town of Ranson volunteered their facilities for this to help people in the county. And some of the Walgreens and CVS are involved, though I'm not quite sure how yet, but they're going to be involved as well.
Okay, well, thank you, Christian, for your continuing work on that. And if nothing more there, item B is the discussion on action how to continue to proceed with public comment during virtual meetings. I want to thank everybody who's worked on this because it appears like we're ready to rock with public comments now on our new program that we're using. And it appears that it'll work from now on out, inviting members of the community in who want to speak or have a comment on our agenda items or future meetings.
Oh, I want to make a comment on that. Just for those that are paying attention in the public, that this has been a long process. It's not been, it's not been done slowly by any intention. It's just taken time to build a system. Trying to be thoughtful. So I appreciate the support, specifically from Deb, who's been outstanding, and the amount of time that she's put in to support these meetings. It's one of our sort of unsung heroes. And to Kevin and Nancy for their support in getting the website updated and updating policies and procedures and all those things. So I'm looking forward to this. This is a step forward for our town.
And for anybody who doesn't know or hasn't figured it out yet, it's Jay Premack who has basically pulled all of this together to enable us to do webinars, Zoom webinars. Tonight was our test run. Deb, I just texted her, said she's doing phenomenal. She's doing great. And hopefully we can just keep going forward to get more public participation in these virtual settings.
Okay, excellent. So I realize we've got a couple items that we need to drop back to, but in new business, we're showing none. And if that's the case, I think we can then, we had a couple items to discuss in the executive session.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand there's going to be a process for that.
So if you'd like, I'll review the process.
Yeah.
Kevin is going to send an email to those who are participating in executive session, which I believe on this session will include Bill Robinson and Chris Steyer. And I can join the mayor in his if you need me in the session. Anyone who's going to participate in the executive session, once you get the email, click on the link in that executive session email. It will automatically exit you from the webinar. At the same time, I will set up the webinar to post to show that we are in executive session. And then once we leave executive session, you'll just go back to the original email that you received with this Zoom link in it and click back on that. And I will bring you back in from attendee to panelist so you can make your motions and close the meeting. Anybody have any questions?
We're to look for an email now. Correct?
Yes, you should look for an email. I'll wait.
It has, you should already have it.
Okay.
So
All
we're going
right.
to be leaving this meeting total.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm
See y'all
going to
later.
everybody work on leaving, and I'm going to set up this.
We need a motion before we even
yeah.
go anywhere.
Oh, good for you, Jay.
Then there's
Yeah.
that.
Well, we still have a quorum in here, so we can accomplish that. Barbara, are you prepared to make the motion to go into executive session, given these are water?
Yeah, I move that we go into executive session per West Virginia Code 69A-4 B 2A, matters arising from employment.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to wait till you all go, and then I'm going to set up the panel.
Okay.
Okay.
Leaving now.
Okay, good. Oops, wait. All right, I'm gonna go check on Wayne.
That dog doing there?
Ronnie back.
I'm petting that dog's nose with my hand right now.
He's right here. I got one right here behind me.
I don't know, I see it.
Come here, buddy.
Oh my gosh, there it is. In the flesh.
Say hi, buddy.
Okay, buddy. He's not impressed. I can see by the look on his face.
He sat through quite a bit of this. The little guy was in here earlier, and he was. It was a good thing I was in attendee and my mic was off because he was a little hellion.
Is that Roni? Pepperoni?
This is Roni, and the other guy is Moose.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Oh, Lordy.
What a night.
All right, I think we got everybody.
All like this, but they can get a little crazy.
All right, I think you're all in.
Mayor's not in yet.
There we go. Oh, he's a good boy.
Yes, Terry just doesn't have his video on. Let me go see if I can.
So, hey, Barbara, do you happen to have those two motions that we're going to make?
Yeah.
Good for you, lady.
Okay.
Actually, three motions. Three
Okay.
motions.
Okay.
Are we, do we
We're
have
back?
to announce?
Yes, we are back out of executive session. It's 10:07 p.m.
Okay, I'm prepared to make the first motion. Are we ready?
Yes, you're ready. Go ahead.
Okay. I move to hire Kenneth Mitchell as a part-time temporary employee for 90 days, not to exceed 40 hours per week at $16 per hour to begin at the next pay period, which I'm not sure when it is.
Okay, I'm going to give you that date.
Probably be a good idea, Deb.
While she's doing
Okay,
that, can
that
you
will
repeat
be-
that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll
You
repeat.
can say to begin working on March 15th.
Okay. All right. Kevin, do you want me to repeat that?
There's no way of getting them started now, is there?
That's up. I mean, that's up to you guys. You can.
Because I could use them tomorrow.
It doesn't. Whether you begin them at the beginning of the next pay period or not is neither here nor there for me, really.
Just say with an effective date of March 9, 2021.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, guys.
Well, we didn't. Okay, you made a
You're
motion.
all responsible for doing the payroll forms and all that.
Barbara,
Barbara, you willing
Okay,
to?
I'll repeat that.
Thanks.
I move to hire Kenneth Mitchell as a part-time temporary employee for 90 days, not to exceed 40 hours per week at $16 per hour with an effective start date of March 9th.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, I'm not hearing any further discussion.
I have one question for Barbara. Would it make sense to say not to exceed 90 days?
Yeah, I could, the same, yeah.
So I would ask that, I'm not sure the procedure at this point since we have a second.
No, you can ask her to volunteer to amend it to say not to exceed 90 days.
Yes, substitute for 90 days for the words not to exceed 90 days.
And, okay, yeah.
And I still second.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a motion to hire Kenneth Mitchell as a part-time temporary employee for a period not to exceed 90 days and not to exceed 40 hours per week at $16 per hour with an effective start date of 9th March 2021.
Right.
Perfect. I second.
Okay, Kevin, could you run a roll call vote on that?
Certainly can. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis.
Aye.
I vote aye. Mayor.
Aye. Okay, next item.
I move to adjust the pay of Waterworks employee Sean Bainey. Do I say from and to? Kevin? From what he's.
Two.
Okay, I move to adjust the pay of Waterworks employee Sean Bainey to $16.05 per hour to be commensurate with the new Waterworks pay scale, retroactive to March 1st.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Just add 2021, which Kevin will automatically do.
March 1st, 2021.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion?
What was that last part again? I'm sorry. To be commensurate with the new Harpers Ferry Waterworks pay scale.
Retroactive to March 1st, 2021.
Got it.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, Kevin, would you run the roll call vote on that motion in second?
Sure. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis.
Aye.
I vote aye. Mayor.
Aye.
And just to be clear, Nancy, you made the second on that. Was that right?
I did.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And we have one more issue, one more item.
Okay. I move to adjust the pay of Harpers Ferry Waterworks employee Chris Spanos to $20.51 per hour, commensurate with the new Harpers Ferry Waterworks pay scale, retroactive to March 1st, 2021.
I second that.
We'll give Jay credit on the second there. Quicker to the draw.
Spread the love.
Any further discussion?
That was 20.51 per hour.
50-51,
Yes. 2051.
Okay. Hearing none, Kevin, would you run a roll call vote on that, please?
Yes. Barbara Humes,
Aye.
Jay Premack,
Aye.
Christian Petroconis,
Aye.
Nancy Case,
Aye.
Ed Wheelis,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Mayor.
Aye. Okay.
If there's
Thank
no
you
more
guys
business,
so much,
I
guys.
believe that
Thank you so
concludes
much.
our business for this evening.
if there's no one objects, I'd like to motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great evening. Thank you for all your
You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome, by the way.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys.
They are on Mars.
What?
Kevin Carden is apparently on Mars.
Right?